watching Times Now. I'm Meenakshi Upreti. Now, after Adani Enterprises crabbed its 20,000 crore FPO, the Indian stock market is subdued, with Adani stocks dragging the market down. Sensex is mostly flat and Nifty is in the red. Adani Enterprises and Adani Ports are also lagging. Its stocks erased all the market's budget day gains yesterday as the Hindenburg report continued to keep retail investor sentiment subdued. Meanwhile, the Reserve Bank of India has asked banks for details of their exposure to the Adani group of companies. Now, shares of all Adani Group companies have taken a massive beating at the stock market after US-based firm Hindenburg Research accused the group of stock manipulation and fraud. The Adani board called off FPO of equity shares aggregation up to rupees 20,000 crores to insulate investors from potential losses. All right, that's the latest as far as, of course, the Adani Group and their share value is concerned. Now, if we speak of the Adani Group, you know, their share value has not only gone down, but it's also other shares which have gone down, which have plunged due to the losses which Adani is seeing. Now, let's take a look at the latest reports which are coming in as far as various Adani enterprises are concerned. Now, let's take a look at Adani Green Energy. That stock has plunged by about 60%. That's a massive plunge. Of course, the highest value was about 3,048 rupees. The lowest value is, as of now, at 2,024.05. That's the latest. So imagine the amount of plunge hit which the Adani stocks have taken in the backdrop of the Hindenburg crisis. If we move on, really take a look at Adani Transmission, the plunge is 58%. That's a massive dip as far as, of course, the shares are concerned. The highest value was above 4,000. If you look at September 16 in 2022, that has also gone down drastically to 2,975. That's how, if you take a look at various groups now, Adani Enterprises overall, the highest value was 4,189. This was December 22. Now, come January 23, within a month, the value has halved. It's reached 2,975. The plunge is 29%. Across Adani companies, we are seeing, of course, the numbers plunge. We are seeing, of course, the value of the stock also reduce drastically. So it's a massive deduction as far as, a massive stave off as far as the Adani Group is concerned. We are being joined now by market experts, economic policy experts as well. Vikas Agrawal, founder and CEO of AIF, and PMS Experts India with us. Also joining us is Amirullah Khan. He is an economic policy expert. I'm going to go first to you, Vikas. Help us understand really, the market sentiment at the moment. We are seeing, of course, a massive cascading effect. How does it, first of all, in simple words, affect the Aam Aadmi? The fact that we are seeing Adani stocks plunge so drastically, almost a 28% of cost reduction, if we look at stocks overall as far as Adani Enterprises are concerned, and obviously Nifty, Sensex also in the red.
Because these companies of Adani Group has higher weightages in the overall benchmarks, which is Sensex and Nifty. Therefore, it has affected to large extent in terms of overall sentiments. I mean, having said that, what we need to also understand that obviously when valuations were extremely high, obviously when you look at the valuation, it goes up. And eventually, when you saw that these numbers are going down, so it will have some amount of impact in the overall benchmark for sure.
Of course, the overall markets. Now, if you look at, Amirullah Khan, if you could come in here, if we look at, the impact it's going to have, the exposure as far as the Aam Aadmi is concerned, because many are now speaking of how LIC has also taken a hit because of the fiasco at the Adani Group.
So, it is for sure that there is this hanging because of what is happening with the Adani shares. One must also remember that there was a budget yesterday that seems to have have impacted the stock market in some ways. So even if it were not just for Adani, Adani is a big reason, is a big factor. But even otherwise, given the fact that the tax SOPs have seen to it that some
but at the same time, Vikas, if you could come in here, we've taken your point, sir, but we have to look at the overall impact. One can't say that the impact we are seeing on the markets is only because of the budget. I mean, end of the day, you have, of course, the biggest company, in our country, which has taken such a massive plunge. It's bound to have a cascading effect on the market. I'm sure one of the biggest reasons why we are seeing the markets in the red today. Look at how the LIC stocks have been performing. Obviously, the biggest reason seems to be the Adani Group, isn't it, sir?
There is an insurance overhang. There is the insurance sector has been affected because of the exemptions that have been taken back. But your point is absolutely valid that this kind of a debacle, where a firm loses, where the most prized position of the country, the one group that a lot of people know has been backed by everybody and the most powerful people, has suddenly landed in such a mess that it has lost $100 billion. It is going to have a huge overhang, and obviously that is the biggest factor. What I'm saying is that even if it were not the case, we would have seen some tempering of the stocks post the budget. But to reiterate what you said, the fact is that Adani is our largest group. It has been seen as the mascot for India's growth over the last 6 or 7 years. It is being seen as something that is very strongly promoted by the government of India. It is seen as something that is in all the major sectors that the government is promoting, which is infrastructure, green energy, television, all of that. And that is why the overhang of what happened to the Adani house is going to be very strong. And I think we are just seeing the beginnings of that problem.
All right, and that's a very big statement, which you make. You're calling it just the tip of the iceberg. We'll have to wait and watch really how this entire fiasco unfolds. As of now, I'd like to thank both of you for joining us with your expert opinion on Times Now. We'll slip into a short commercial break. On the other side, other news and updates lined up.